All right, look, now, I think the best way to deal with dropping the charges against Kevin Buchanan is to face this thing head on. Try to make it an asset, not a liability. And Marty, your willingness to come forward to say that he's innocent supports your insistence that the other three are guilty.
You really think that'll fly?
All depends on you, Marty.
I'll be okay.
All right.
The last time I was on the stand, I was distracted and upset because I knew I was doing the wrong thing, insisting that Kevin was one of them. But, I'm not confused at all today. It's all clear to me.
Great.
All rise. Oyez, oyez. The Court of Common Pleas of Lantana County, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, is now in session. The Honorable Judge Fitzwater presiding.
Is the prosecution ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the witness? Are you ready to resume?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm ready.
Miss Saybrook, the last time you were on this witness stand, you told the court with considerable certainty that one of the men you had accused, Kevin Buchanan, had in fact not raped you. Are you still certain of that?
Positive.
Could you please tell the court why you withdrew your accusations against Mr. Buchanan?
I was confused about Kevin because of the sequence of events. I mean, he came in to the room where I was raped afterwards, and I got mixed up. There was a lot I couldn't remember about Kevin.
Then you remember distinctly that the other three defendants did what you accused them of.
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel is leading his own witness.
Sustained.
I'll rephrase. Miss Saybrook, would you please tell the court what you remember about the other three defendants from the time they entered Mr. Buchanan's room that night?
I remember everything.
Why is their behavior at that time so clear in your mind? I mean, when you yourself admit that moments before you had just been sleeping off the effects of too much alcohol.
Because they were so out of control. I mean, they were like a bunch of wild animals that play with their prey before...
Objection.
Your Honor, the witness is describing how she experienced the behavior of her attackers.
I'll allow, but let's not go too far afield.
Please, go on, Miss Saybrook.
All I'm trying to say is that because they were so scary and so out of control, I remember exactly what happened from the moment they walked in the door. I relive it every single night, whether I'm awake or asleep. I can't get away from the memory of being locked in that room with those monsters.
Objection, Your Honor. The witness is offering up a monologue.
Sustained.
You want to hear the facts? Miss Saybrook, let's talk about the facts. Would you please state for the record everything that you remember as it happened in Kevin Buchanan's room at Kappa Alpha Delta the night of the spring fling?
I was lying on Kevin's bed. I must have been asleep. And Todd, Zach, and Powell, they walked in the door, and they were grinning. It gave me the creeps. I didn't want to be in there with them, so I tried to get away, but they stopped me.
How did they stop you?
They shoved me around. They tossed me from one to another, like it was a basketball or something.
So you were unable to get away from them?
I did get away from them at one point for a second.
What did you do?
I tried to get out.
but you were unable to do so.
Todd got to the door before me and he wouldn't let me out.
And what happened next?
He's just changed.
Changed? Todd Manning?
Yes, he just became completely different.
Different how?
Angry. He was very angry. It was like one, he was fooling around, just playing around, and then the next, he got angry. I thought he was gonna kill me.
What happened then?
He threw me on the bed. He kicked my legs out from under me, and he fell on top of me.
Okay, Miss Seabrook. Now I want you to just take your time and tell us, as you recall, what happened.
Todd told Zach to lock the door.
And did Zach Rosen lock the door?
No. I asked him not to, and he said, fine. I won't. Then he asked Powell to lock it.
Then did Powell Lord lock the door?
Yes, he did.
And then what happened?
Todd took my wrists in one of his hands. He just held them up, pulled them up over my head, and held them out. You know, pinned me down with one hand. I thought that if I moved, I was going to dislocate my shoulders.
What did he do next?
You mean?
Yes. Miss Saybrook, I need the specific details.
He kicked my legs open with his knee.
Did you try to resist this?
Yes. But he pulled my arms up tighter over my head. I remember my arms hitting the headboard. And then he leaned and he put his other hand across my neck. He put it across my neck. I thought he was going to crush my windpipe, you know, so I turned to the side. But I could just feel my head pounding. I thought he was going to kill me.
So you were immobilized.
Yes, he had his knees on my thighs. He had my arms pinned over my head and his forearm across my throat. I couldn't move. He took his arm off my throat. pulled off my underpants.
And?
He raped me.
Miss Saybrook, would you please tell the court what happened after Todd Manning brutally raped you?
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel is offering up his opinion.
Your Honor, the witness's testimony has just described extreme brutality. Now, perhaps my esteemed colleague needs to have her memory refreshed. Maybe now that she's heard how these bruises were sustained, she needs to take another look at these pictures.
Objection is sustained. And Mr. Gannon, the dramatics, please, to a minimum.
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Saybrook, would you please tell us what happened after Todd Manning raped you?
He held my wrists down, and he said to the others, "Who's next?"
And what happened then?
Zach got on top of me. Couldn't believe this whole thing. I couldn't fight, so I just tried harder to scream harder than I did the last time.
And what happened then?
Zach stuffed a sweatband in my mouth.
Did you try to resist this?
Yes. My mouth was dry, and I tried to resist, but Zach couldn't really breathe.
And then?
Zach raped me.
What happened after that?
Todd said it was time for Powell to take a turn.
And did Powell take a turn?
Yes, he did.
He raped you.
He raped me. Just like the others.
Miss Saybrook, I know this has been a long, painful afternoon of questioning, but would you please tell us what happened next?
They stood around. Like they'd won a football game or something. They were drinking beer and laughing at me.
And did you try to leave at that point?
No.
Why not?
I was in so much pain I could barely move. I was in shock. I didn't want them to do anything. I just didn't want them to do anything else to me. And I guess after a while I just passed out.
Thank you, Miss Saybrook. No further questions, Your Honor. Your witness.